Bob, you're permitted to visit your future self in the year 2050. You're provided 10 minutes to ask one question, and only one question, and your future self is eager to hear that question. The question I have for you is, what would you ask your future self and why? Whenever you're ready, the floor is yours. Good sir.
The first thing I would say is 25 years from now, I would say you're lucky to still be standing. But I would say the overall question that comes back to me is, how did you do with what you were given? Did you make an impact in people's lives? Were you a good person? How did you do these past 25 years to get you to this point? And hopefully, if I'm a chance to live that long, I would hope that I would look back and say, you really did. You reached out to people. You were there for them. You were a good husband, a good father, a good friend, a good co-worker. I've been involved, like Terry, in the NBA for many, many years. It's an amazing organization, and you'd like to think that you did it right for them. So that's what hit me when you presented me with that question is, if you'd asked me that when I was 40 years old, I might have a completely different answer. But to take it today, it's like, well, man, congratulations for making it that far. But I would say, what did you do with the time that you did have? That's what struck me.
It's scarier to think about how much of our life is formed by things that are out of our control, or how much of our life is formed by things that are within our control. Which one might be scarier in this case? Bob, whenever you're ready to go, the floor is yours, good sir.
I think the way that hit me was, to put it like this: as you go through your life, probably as a young man, you think it's outside events that are affecting your life. You didn't get the job. You didn't get the date with the girl that you wanted. You didn't get the money that you wanted, and you played the blame game. Okay, but I think as you get older, you understand that no, that's not the case at all. Everything that has happened to me happened because of me, good and bad. It was my mistakes. It was my fractured relationships. It was my not knowing. It was my ignorance of a situation. It was things that I could have done better, if my ego had not gotten in the way. So I think it's a question that as you go through your life, go through time, it changes. You kind of have, maybe early on, a little chip on your shoulder, like Terry, maybe you got cut from the team and you didn't think you deserved it. You put the blame somewhere else, but maybe you weren't good enough. But I think, at least for me, as I have gotten older, I've come to the understanding that it's what you do, how you handle it, how you move on, how do you make corrections, how do you handle the fortunes that come your way, how do you handle the misfortunes that come your way, and you get much more reflective.
Are there checks and balances sometimes after a broadcast? Are you ever in a position where you jot down some of the do's and don'ts? Are you still learning after all these years? Because you're a hell of a teacher.
Well, thank you. Yes, I hope that I am. I hope that part of me never goes away. I still go back and watch. I don't watch every second of every game,
right,
but I do try to go back and watch a segment of every broadcast just to make sure that my words match the pictures, that what I have to say makes sense and fits the story of the evening and stuff like that. I work well with my partner. Do I do all the things that they want me to do on the broadcast and do them well?
Brian Knobs selected The Exorcist as the most iconic movie poster of all time, and we'll explain why.
Yeah. Well, mine is The Exorcist, because I was born and raised Catholic, and I watched the movie, and the poster got me. But after I watched the movie, my grandmother, God bless her soul, she lived to 92. She was, very into with the church and everything like that. And I knew, she had all the crosses and everything in her bedroom, and that movie scared the shit out of me so bad that I slept with her in the other bed she had. She had twin-sized beds in her bedroom that we all lived together, with my parents. And I knew I was safe in there because she was very, very, into the, like I said, every function, she did everything with the priest. And so I know I was safe sleeping with my Grammy. That movie got me so bad, and I was scared shitless that I had to sleep with my grandmother, and I was 13 at the time. Like, I'm supposed to be coming into my own. I was scared shitless, like the devil was going to get inside of me, and I think he has after all these years.
Brian Knobs, guys and gals, is now going to make a case for...
Better rip knots.
In this topic, I Can't Get No Satisfaction is the greatest guitar solo of all time, and he will explain why momentarily right now.
First of all, I got to say to Peter, hey, man, you're giving your 13 grand to charity. I'm keeping mine. I'm famous and broke. I'm a pro wrestler. But I picked Keith Richards because, I've been listening, and this was a hard one for me, like Sag said. But, Joe Walsh was just on, and he was on, I think, Jimmy Kimmel or... I forget, but they were talking to him, and he told me Pete Townsend took him aside and gave him words of advice and said, and Pete Townsend's a hell of a guitar player also. But then you go back to Keith Richards, and then if you think about it, okay, playing Satisfaction, where he wrote right down here at the Fort Harrison Hotel in Clearwater, okay, he learned back in the day from Muddy Waters, okay? Muddy Waters was awesome. Nobody forgets about Chess Records, but Muddy Waters, they came over to see him and learned from him, and then the Rolling Stones returned the favor and brought Muddy back, and paid for everything, and Muddy was back over again.